everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton. Law enforcement groups are calling a resolution that will be considered by Brooklyn Center City Council on Saturday misguided. This effort at police reform follows protests that have been ongoing since last month's police shooting of Dante Wright. A city resolution calls for sending unarmed social workers to mental health calls and unarmed civilians to conduct traffic stops. The letter from 3 law enforcement organizations calls the proposed revamping of traffic and criminal laws in the middle of an increase in violent crime misguided. It states that it would make officers and community members less safe. In a sudden change on masks, Governor Tim Walz on Friday lifted the state's mask mandate, following guidance from the CDC that state health officials were not expecting. Despite the mandate being lifted, the state is still encouraging people who are not fully vaccinated to keep wearing masks. Local businesses and cities can still issue their own policies. Before we went to air, CCX News heard back from one local city, the city of Robbinsdale, which said it would follow state guidelines in lifting the mandate. Some cities like Minneapolis and St. Paul will continue to require masks indoors. The state also recommends people to wear face coverings in schools, medical facilities, and when using public transportation. While the calendar may not indicate it, this weekend is practically a national holiday in Minnesota. Saturday is the fishing opener for walleye, bass, northern pike, and lake trout. Even if you don't fish, this weekend's opener has a big impact. As Delane Cleveland reports, it comes at a time when the DNR reports a red-hot start to fishing license sales.
It's an exciting weekend in Minnesota as the fishing opener kicks off. So we went to one of the most popular spots for bait in the northwest suburbs, where the fishing opener is a huge event.
All right, that'll do. Be $29.92, please. It is Super Bowl fishing. People are jacked up. You know, it's time to get back out there on open water. We're excited. We can hunt some walleyes, some pike down.
The dream of any angler is to catch the big one. But before that can happen, they need just the right bait. And for 24 years,
I ordered some leeches to bring with us.
The first stop on many a fishing journey is Big B's Bait and Tackle in Plymouth.
And the bait store here is probably the best bait store you can get around town here.
Rocket bobbers, they'll be over here.
When you have the best bait store during the so-called Super Bowl of fishing, chances are that it's going to be a busy weekend.
Usually it starts kicking off around midday Friday, and then it's chaos all through the weekend.
Yet owner Brian Soulars says the influx of customers is more than just a weekend blip.
Thank you, and good luck out there.
While the COVID-19 shutdowns impacted a lot of the indoor entertainment options over the past year, Minnesota's lakes remained open for business. And that was good news for the shop's bottom line.
Absolutely. Business is doubled. Last year was absolutely incredible. We had a hard time keeping product in the shop.
And all accounts are that even as the state lifts COVID restrictions, interest in fishing remains strong.
Feels like sandpaper, right? It won't cut you.
Longtime fishermen have certainly noticed a difference.
Oh, if you're not there by 5 o'clock, you might have a hard time finding a parking spot.
One of the good things to come out of the pandemic is that people rediscovered the great outdoors.
This was one of the last things that they could do, and I think people are going to come back year after year because I think they found out that, hey, this is pretty fun.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
The COVID-19 pandemic placed extraordinary budget pressures on local cities, but a new report shows local cities managed to stay on their feet financially. The report by the Office of the State Auditor shows a mix of spending reductions, federal aid, and a use of fund balances helped many local cities in 2020. That cautious approach continued in budget planning for 2021. State Auditor Julie Blaha says the effects of economic downturns on city budgets tend to lag behind other systems, and budget pressures aren't over yet.
If the economy turns down, local governments may not feel those full effects for 6 months to 2 years after. So even though we are seeing, again, a lot of stability, seeing some improvement in the economy, we've got to be really careful. Local governments may still be experiencing the effects of COVID beyond when the rest of the economy does.
The state auditor says another budget factor local governments need to be prepared for in the coming years: rising inflation.
My summer I spent in a little village like rural village in the Ural Mountains area where my grandma was born.
It was during these summer stays with her grandparents that Ekaterina Kazashenko fell in love with nature. She drew and sketched as she wandered the countryside, and at 15 enrolled in the College of Art in her hometown of Perm. She found a successful artist who took her under his wing and mentored her.
He gave me a mirror, chair, and paper, and he said, okay, I have to leave. You have like an hour and a half for drawing your self-portrait.
Ekaterina passed the test and worked hard developing her technique and continuing her education, earning a PhD from the Russian Academy of Arts in Kazan.
And that was program runs for 3 years. So I graduated in 2013. And since then, shortly after that, I moved here.
She works in oils. You can see her attention to detail in light and shadow. In describing her style,
people like to call now it's modern realism, like contemporary realism, which is, I don't know if it exactly applies or not, but I mean, I'm a contemporary living person, so maybe it is.
One thing is certain, her work is beautiful. There's a depth of soul in each scene, care in each brushstroke.
Inspiration, life, it's a good inspiration, I think. Things you see, you enjoy.
The exhibit Poetica by Ekaterina Kazashenko will be on display at Robbin Gallery through May 22nd. For Weekend Showcase, Neil Persley, CCX News.
The Armstrong and Osseo baseball teams have had up and down seasons. Some good wins have been mixed in with tough losses. The Falcons and Orioles met up in a good game Thursday, and Jason Malillo has the highlights.
High school baseball and Northwest Suburban Conference tilt between Osseo and Armstrong. Top first, Matthew Kitzman slices a line drive to the gap, scoring Tyler Rose for a 1-0 Orioles lead. It's an RBI double for Kitzman. Top second, a clutch 2-out hit by Rose scores Andrew Newman, and Osseo is up 3-1. Falcons rally in the fourth. Michael Azuri's hit brings home Luke Rader and Isaac Peelan. Azuri is thrown out at second, but Armstrong still takes a 5-3 lead. Armstrong pitcher Dylan Inninger gets better as the game goes along. Strikeout in the sixth here, part of a 1-2-3 inning. Then in the top of the seventh, Inninger gets the Orioles in order again, a game-ending K giving Armstrong the 5-3 win. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Armstrong's next game is Tuesday when they play at Park Center. Osseo also plays Tuesday as they host Elk River. Osseo did beat Armstrong in softball, winning it 14-4. A private funding school district partnership will mean a new scoreboard complete with video at the football, soccer, lacrosse stadium at Maple Grove High School. John Jacobson has the details.
When fall sports return in a few months, there will be a new look at Maple Grove High School. The old scoreboard at the school will be replaced with a new video board, the result of a partnership between the school district and the Maple Grove Football Booster Club. Boosters and their sponsors raised over $250,000 to add a video component to the larger scoreboard.
We've been having great responses from them. We actually have the majority of our sponsors sold at this point, but if there is a local business that's interested, we do have 5 more spots to advertise and support the Maple Grove community at large if they're interested.
I think this has been a kind of a labor of love for a lot of people, and so I'm proud that we've gotten to this point, and I think the kids are actually super appreciative, and that's part I've kind of enjoyed watching as we've talked about it, that they are grateful for kind of how this thing's developed, because it's kind of been organic and it's kind of been from within. And
scoreboards will also be coming in the near future to both Osseo and Park Center high schools. It's all part of a School District 279 audit of athletic and activity spaces launched in the fall of 2019. So while Maple Grove is getting a scoreboard this summer, the other 2 high schools identified more pressing needs to be addressed first.
We do have a number of projects at both of those schools as well. In particular, here coming up this summer, we're looking at replacing the tennis courts at Osseo Senior, and then we're doing a lot of work right now with the locker room space at Park Center. There's a number of things that are going on there as well.
The video scoreboard at Maple Grove will be run by high school students, part of a curriculum set up by the vendor. And it will be used not only for football, but also for soccer, track and field, and lacrosse varsity home games.
I mean, this project is so much more than the game day experience. What we're most excited about as a booster club is really those educational opportunities that is providing these students. If you're interested in video and media and broadcasting, and this scoreboard will give these kids new opportunities to learn a skill set that doesn't currently exist within the high school today.
Ron Meyer says the school district is continuing to explore more partnerships like this on other projects.
This is a great example of a partnership, but there's a number of partnerships at all of our schools really across the district as it relates to booster clubs and other outside organizations.
In Maple Grove, John Jacobson, CCX Sports.
That's all for sports. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Jay Wilcox.